The forest was a living, breathing entity, its ancient trees whispering secrets in the wind, their gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. Maya, a girl of 12 with eyes the color of moss and a spirit as wild as the untamed wilderness around her, loved this place. It was her sanctuary, her escape from the stifling normalcy of her village life. But today, the forest felt different. An unsettling silence hung in the air, broken only by the unsettling creak of branches and the rustle of unseen creatures. Maya had been collecting wildflowers, their vibrant colors a stark contrast to the muted greens and browns of the forest floor. But as the sun dipped lower, casting long, skeletal shadows, a creeping fear began to coil around her heart. The air grew cold, and a strange, almost metallic scent filled her nostrils. She stumbled upon a clearing, a circle of ancient oaks, their branches forming a canopy that blocked out the sun, leaving the space shrouded in a deep, unsettling twilight. In the center, a single, gnarled tree stood apart, its bark a sickly gray, twisted and gnarled like a skeletal hand. It emanated a pulsing energy, a sense of wrongness that sent shivers down her spine. Maya felt an irresistible pull, an urge to approach the tree. It was as if the tree itself was beckoning her, its silence a whispered invitation. She took a hesitant step forward, her heart pounding in her chest. The air grew colder, and the metallic scent intensified. She reached out and touched the rough bark, her fingers finding a strange, almost warm pulse beneath the cold surface. As she touched the tree, a voice echoed in her head, a whisper that felt like a cold wind against her skin. It spoke of darkness, of an ancient hunger, of a power that slumbered within the earth. Maya pulled her hand back, fear seizing her. She tried to run, to escape the chilling presence, but her feet seemed rooted to the ground. The voice grew stronger, more insistent, a relentless tide pulling her closer to the tree. The shadows around her deepened, taking on a sinister life of their own. They writhed and twisted, forming grotesque shapes that reached out towards her with grasping claws. The scent of metal intensified, filling the air with a sickening sweetness. Maya screamed, her voice lost in the silent embrace of the forest. The tree pulsed with an unholy energy, its branches reaching out like grasping hands, their bark becoming flesh, their leaves transforming into eyes that burned with an unholy fire. The shadows coalesced around her, a living darkness that enveloped her in its embrace. The last thing Maya saw before the darkness claimed her completely was the reflection of a monstrous face in the tree's heartwood, its eyes burning with a primal hunger, its mouth a gaping maw filled with razor-sharp teeth. The voice, once a whisper, became a roar, a primal scream that echoed through the forest, a chilling testament to the ancient evil that had awakened. The clearing fell silent. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting the forest in an eerie twilight. The wind howled through the trees, carrying the scent of blood and decay. The ancient tree stood sentinel, its bark pulsing with a dark energy, its branches reaching out, welcoming the night. Maya, once a child of the forest, was gone, consumed by the darkness that slumbered within its heart. The forest, once a sanctuary, was now a tomb, its secrets buried deep within the earth, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to wander into its embrace. The forest held its breath, the silence after the scream a heavy, oppressive blanket. The air, thick with the metallic tang of blood and the sickly sweet scent of decay, hung heavy. The gnarled tree, now radiating a malevolent glow, seemed to pulsate with a dark energy. It was no longer a tree, but a grotesque, living entity, a dark heart beating in the heart of the woods. Days passed, and the village, oblivious to the horror that had unfolded, continued its daily routine. But the elders, with their deep-rooted knowledge of the ancient forest, felt a shift in the balance. They sensed a darkness, a malevolence that had not been there before. The animals, normally unafraid of human presence, became skittish, their eyes reflecting a primal fear. The once vibrant flowers began to wilt, their colors fading to a sickly pallor. The village elder, a wizened woman named Alara, knew the ancient stories whispered around the campfire, stories of a forgotten evil that slept within the forest's heart. The stories spoke of a creature of darkness, a being that fed on fear and sorrow, a being that could only be awakened by a sacrifice. And now, the signs were unmistakable. Driven by a sense of foreboding, Alara rallied the villagers, recounting the legends and urging them to stay away from the heart of the forest. But fear had already begun to spread. Whispers of disappearances, of strange occurrences in the woods, sent shivers down their spines. Some dismissed the stories as mere superstition, but the elders knew better. Then, another child, a boy named Elias, disappeared. The villagers searched desperately, but the forest offered no answers. The boy was gone, swallowed by the darkness that had fallen over the woods. Alara knew that the creature was growing stronger, its hunger insatiable. She knew that something drastic had to be done. She gathered the bravest of the villagers, armed with torches and a desperate hope, and they set out for the heart of the forest. They journeyed through the silent woods, the shadows seeming to press in on them, the air heavy with an unsettling presence. They arrived at the clearing, the gnarled tree standing sentinel in the center, radiating a cold, menacing aura. As they approached the tree, the shadows shifted and twisted, taking on the forms of grotesque creatures, their eyes burning with a malevolent glow. The villagers cowered, their courage faltering. But Alara, her heart filled with a fierce determination, held her ground. She knew that this was a battle they could not afford to lose. Alara chanted ancient words, words of power that had been passed down through generations, words that aimed to banish the darkness. The air crackled with energy, the shadows recoiling as the words reverberated through the clearing. The tree pulsed with a furious energy, its branches lashing out, its bark spitting sparks. But Alara, her voice ringing with power, continued her chant, her words a beacon of hope against the encroaching darkness. The villagers, emboldened by her courage, joined in the chant, their voices rising in a chorus of defiance. The combined energy of their voices and Alara's chant created a shield, a force that pushed back the darkness. The tree writhed in agony, its branches shaking violently, its bark cracked and peeled, revealing a grotesque, pulsing mass of flesh and bone. The shadows around it coalesced into a monstrous form, a creature of pure darkness, its eyes glowing with a malevolent fire. The creature lunged, its claws reaching for the villagers. But Alara, her voice a weapon against the encroaching darkness, pushed back. The light from their torches seemed to intensify, casting the creature in a blinding light. The creature recoiled, its form flickering and fading as the light burned it.